It's the world's tiniest stop sign. Hey everybody, happy Saturday. I'm wearing my Bucs hat, my Bucs shirt. Of course that means I'm gonna go eat some crab legs. Dun-dun-dun. Just kidding. I'm going to Waffle House. And then we're going to Bucs training camp. And then we're gonna have some crab legs. Well, this looks like a promising day. Is this the part where a giant monster steps out of the clouds and comes and crushes these cars that are on the highway? This looks really promising. This street is dead quiet now, but in a couple of months, it'll be loaded with people walking from the parking lots over to Ray J Stadium. And there it is on the corner. It's weird because they don't have any player banners up on the corner end zones, or at least they're covered where they haven't unveiled them yet. No, looks like they're just empty. All of the marketing around the stadium is like off right now. Check that out. I've never seen it like that before. There you can see on this side that they have some player draperies out there. I guess some more work to do on the stadium before it opens. So the good news is we got to One Buc Place with an hour to spare before practice starts, so we'll be able to get a good seat. The bad news is it looks like this outside. And look at all those cars that are trying to get in. Practice has been delayed for an hour now. Look at that giant flag above Mary's head. In case anyone ever wonders how hard it rains here, it rains a little bit harder than it does up in the Northeast. Just a tad bit. And yet the parking lot is full with fans still waiting for practice to start. Alright, so we're on the other side of the stadium now. No banners up on this side either. The stadium just looks really crazy with like kind of like naked. Nothing on it. Well, there's a sign at least with the current team. Or players that we hope will be playing this year. So this is a church without walls. But the good news is, well, bad news depending on the situation, it's for lease. So you can live in a building without walls that does have walls with those giant ants in front of it. Alright, so Bucs practice has been postponed for 3 hours. We are gonna go eat at this very rainy Renzos. Mary made a run in already. And now I'm gonna attempt to try to dodge some rain and get in there myself. So when life hands you rain all afternoon, this is what you do. You come to Renzos, get this incredible steak with chimichurri sauce, some rice, and tostones. What'd you think? No food left. This is always amazing. Alright guys, Renzos was awesome, but I just wanted to give you an update of where we're at because I know this is all like jump cut scenes for you. I know it's like a minute or so every time that we update everything, but practice got canceled. No surprise. They tweeted out that the practice was canceled for completely for today and to come back tomorrow, which for us is not happening because it's like a 2-hour trip to get here. And quite honestly, you know, I kind of thought that when they announced the schedule this year for practices, this is the first year that I probably will not get to a Buccaneers practice. Historically, they've always had practices in the morning or morning and afternoon sessions. And if you know Central Florida, you know that it rains every single day during the afternoon. It's not a bright idea to have your open schedule in the afternoon, which is what's happened now. So every practice that they have, like tomorrow, I think is like 4 o'clock or 4:30, it's just not gonna happen. It's going to rain. And it's not worth it for me to make another 2-hour trip down here. So kind of bummed out. I'm not that huge on the Bucs this year because of their drafting of Winston, who's had character issues in the past. But it's a team that I've followed for years. I feel like it is an obligation for me to continue to keep following them because I went to so many games with my dad while he was still alive. And I'm stuck as a Bucs fan. You know, it's not like it's not like I feel like I'm cornered into having to do this. I want to do it, but the team makes it very difficult to want to be a Buccaneers fan. I do have to say that getting rained out for the very first time that you're able to display your huge prize trophy in Jameis Winston is kind of an ominous start to have. So last couple of thoughts on the Bucs before I move on. The Bucs normally had more practices, and we've been going to practices when they were back at Walt Disney World, at World of Sports. It was a lot easier to go to practices at that point, obviously, closer to the house. It was easier to try to justify Mary and dragging her into these practices also. But in any event, they moved them to One Buc Plaza. It makes sense for them to be near their own facilities. They should have indoor facilities. It is like over 100 degrees on the field every time that these players practice to begin with, and you deal with weather like this, which is not optimal. But the other thing that they've done historically, years back, they had a fan fest every year. It was amazing. You got to meet like literally every player on the team and the coaches. And during the Gruden era, you literally would be able to spend time with everybody around the stadium and go on the field. Mary had a ball at that stuff. I had a ball, Jesse had a ball, my parents had a ball. It was always a fun event to do.
I thought it was great.
Then they started limiting the fan fest on an annual basis to different ways. And then they got to a point where they stopped doing it and they did night practices. And instead of having players around for autographs, they switched it so that season ticket holders would have the ability to go to a corner and maybe meet one of their players they wanted to meet, and geared it more towards season ticket holders instead of normal folks. I've had season tickets for the Bucs in the past. It was not worth it to continually drive down here 2 hours each direction and see a team that just obviously did not want to win on an annual basis. I didn't stop loving the team, but it made it, again, difficult to love them when you know that they were going to lose all the time. That said, the night practice doesn't even exist this year either, unless they announce it at a future time. Right now, there's no way to feel more connected to the team. So in an era where all of these other teams, like the Magic or the Rays or other local teams, you know, within sports, are trying to engage their fan base and bring them closer together, the Bucs seem to have taken a step back this year, and I think that they've really done themselves a disservice. That said, we're at Westshore Mall. We're going to take a few minutes to go look around because God knows, living in Orlando, you can't find Tampa gear. Even if I wanted to buy Buccaneers stuff, it's very limited, or Rays stuff, you can't find it, or Lightning stuff. I tend to end up buying a lot of stuff online because you would think that 2 hours away is almost like living across the rest of the United States. So you guys that watch the channel from like over in England or Scotland and these other countries, and you ask about like where could you go get stuff for these teams, I can't even get the stuff in Orlando. So at least when we're here, we're gonna make lemonade out of some lemons.
Yep.
I like that I have to come inside the mall to see how the temperature is. We are gonna take a detour now and go to Cigar City Brewery. What do you think about that? So there's no tours today, but what they do have, they have a full bar. You can get any of the Cigar City brews on tap. They have plenty of shirts and merchandise. Look, they even have Tervis tumblers with Cigar City Brewing in it. And then there's another bar in the back. That's a lot of bars, a lot of beer, and somebody hand rolling cigars. Mary's looking at soaps, Cigar City soaps. They've got them all. And hats, and buckets, and pins, and stickers. I am trying the Marshall Zukov. It's actually very good. It's an Imperial Stout. And Mary's got a Vanilla Maduro, which is also really good. It's a brown ale. All right, I tried Invasion for beer number 2. It's okay. It's an Indian Pale Ale, or just a Pale Ale. It's a Pale Ale. It's got some fruity flavors to it, or light flavors. Not my favorite. All right, we're back home. Things didn't work out the way we wanted to today. What can you do? It was another rainy day in the neighborhood. But we'll be back at it again tomorrow. Hopefully get a little bit of sunshine for a little bit. But on that note, thank you for all of your likes. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your subscriptions. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Have a great night. We'll see you guys.